A Midsummer Night's Dream. Retelling. The young Duke of Athens was in a good mood as he led his bride-to-be into the garden. Quite a conquest she was, in more ways than one. She was Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. He had just defeated the Amazons in battle, and their queen was a warrior as brave and skilled as any man he had encountered. She was beautiful and brave, and although he had won the battle, he had lost his heart. They had fallen in love, and that was that. Philostrate, a party arranger, followed them into the garden. He had come to discuss the wedding arrangement with the couple because Theseus was determined to have a big and joyous public celebration. "Our wedding day is very close, dear Hippolyta," Theseus was saying as they strolled among the brightly colored flowers. "The new moon will rise in 4 days. He stopped and looked at her. "What a long time the old moon is taking to go down. It's making time drag in the way a long-lived stepmother or widow makes time drag for a young man who longs for his inheritance." Hippolyta laughed at his metaphor. "For days will quickly turn into 4 nights, and we'll just dream those nights away," she assured him. "And soon the new moon, like a silver bow in the sky, will see the night of our celebrations." "Go, Philostrate," said Theseus, "stir the young people of Athens up into festive mood. Get the spirit of joy moving among them. Sadness is for funerals, there's no room for it at our celebration." As Philostrate left on his pleasant mission, Theseus invited Hippolyta to sit down on a bench. He took her hand. "Hippolyta," he said, "I pursued you as a conqueror, and won your love while doing you harm. But I'll marry you with celebration, joy, and partying." The calm of their moment alone in the garden was interrupted by the arrival of an elderly, prominent citizen who was arguing loudly with some attendants who wouldn't let him pass. Theseus waved his consent, and Aegeus strode determinedly across the lawn towards him, followed by his pretty daughter Hermia and 2 young men. "Long live Theseus, our distinguished duke," exclaimed Aegeus. "Thanks, good Aegeus," said Theseus. "And what's the news with you?" He looked inquiringly at the 3 young people. Hermia was grim-faced, and the 2 young men stared at the ground in embarrassment. "I'm furious," exclaimed Aegeus. "I've got a problem with my daughter Hermia." He beckoned to one of the young men. "Step forward, Demetrius." He put his hand on the young man's back. "My noble lord, this man has my consent to marry her." He looked over his shoulder at the other young man. "Lysander," he barked. "Step forward." Both young men now stood facing the duke, one on either side of Aegeus. "This one, my gracious duke," wagging a finger at Lysander, "has put some kind of spell on her." You, Lysander." You have given her poems and exchanged love tokens with my child. You have sung beneath her window by moonlight so-called songs of so-called love, and captured her mind with bracelets of your hair, and rings and ribbons, and baubles, games, toys, knickknacks, poses, sweets, things giddy girls are easily swayed by. You've cunningly stolen her heart and turned her obedience, which I'm entitled to obstinate willfulness. Aegis paused briefly to take a breath, then rushed on. And, my gracious Duke, if she won't consent to marry Demetrius, right here, in front of your grace, then I claim my ancient Athenian right that, as she is mine, I can do whatever I like with her. She will either marry this gentleman, Demetrius, or die according to the law in such matters. Theseus was a good and compassionate ruler, but there were some things that were beyond his power to control. This ancient right of citizens was one of them. Aegis was only claiming his right under the law, however grim the prospect of that may be. Theseus sighed. He stood up and went to Hermia, then invited her to sit beside him, which she did. "What do you say, Hermia?" he said. "Let me advise you, my dear young woman. Your father should be like a god to you. He's the one who gave you your beauty. Indeed, he stamped your form in wax and can reshape it or melt it as he likes." He patted her hand. "Demetrius is a good gentleman. So is Lysander," she said. Theseus nodded. "In himself he is," he agreed. "But in this situation, lacking your father's blessing, the other one must be regarded as the better. I wish my father saw through my eyes," she said. Theseus shook his head. "You have to see things his way," he said. Hermia cleared her throat. She glanced at Lysander, then addressed the Duke. "I do beg your Grace's pardon," she said. "I don't know where I found the courage to speak out, nor whether it's proper to say what I think here, but I would ask your Grace to tell me what the worst thing is that could happen to me if I refuse to marry Demetrius." "Either to suffer death or never to have anything to do with men again," said Theseus. "Therefore, fair Hermia, think about what you want. Think about how young you are, examine your feelings carefully, whether, if you don't give in to your father's choice, you can endure a nun's habit and be cooped up forever in some dark cloister, living a childless virgin all your life, singing soulless hymns to the cold, barren moon. Those who can control their passions to undertake a lifetime of virginity are thrice blessed, but the more earthly rose that gives off its perfume is happier than the one that's forced to wither on the untouched stem, growing, living and dying in single blessedness. I will grow, live and die like that, my lord, rather than surrender my virginity to a husband whose unwanted authority my soul hasn't consented to accept," she said. Theseus stared at her. Her father was sure of his victory, and the two young men waited. "I'll give you time to think about it," he said, at last. "By the next new moon, the day on which my love and I seal the everlasting bond of marriage, on that day, either prepare to die for disobeying your father's demand, or else marry Demetrius, as he wishes, or take an oath of chastity and live a single, austere life forever." "Change your mind, sweet Hermia," said Demetrius. "And you, Lysander, give your ridiculous claim up to my certain right." Lysander laughed. "You have her father's love, Demetrius, let me have Hermia's. You marry him." "True, sarcastic Lysander," said Aegeus, "he has my love. And out of that love I will give him what's mine. She is mine, and I hand over all my rights in her to Demetrius." Lysander glanced at Hermia, and she nodded slightly. He faced the Duke bravely. "My lord, I come from as good a family as he does. I'm as wealthy, I love her more than he does, my prospects are as good as, if not better than, his. And, above all, beautiful Hermia loves me. Why shouldn't I insist on my rights? Demetrius, I'll say it to his face, courted Neda's daughter, Helena, and won her heart. And she, sweet lady, worships and idolizes this flawed and unfaithful man.